Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I have another video in which I'm going to go over some trading cards with you guys. And don't let the binder fool you, these are not baseball cards, they are Pokemon cards. And I promise you will be entertained with what I have in store for you today. These are some vintage era Pokemon cards, the ones that are pretty hard to come by nowadays. I acquired this little mini binder a few weeks back for just a small chunk of change. And I thought it would be something nice to hang on to for, the next 10, 15 years, because I think vintage Pokemon cards are only going to go up in value and be harder to come by, whereas, the new stuff that I won't touch with the 15-foot pole, all the GX, VMAX, V-Star cards that they're printing now, I think they're going to have a little bit more trouble holding their value in the coming years just because of how many of them they're printing. Nowadays, people are just pulling the cards out of the packs and putting them straight into the sleeves, whereas these vintage era cards, back in the day, kids played with them actually, so it's very tough to come by some decent quality vintage era cards. So without further ado, let's get into it. It's not a super big binder, but it has a decent number of cards in it that I think you'll like to see. First up, we have some old Flareon cards. These are Jungle from the Jungle set, and as you can see, I have two of them. They are in pretty good quality. I'd say not gem mint, but they have very nice edges. Obviously no creases or anything in them. And I think, Flareon is just a very collectible card because there's so many people who like Eevee out there and will continue to like Eevee in the future. Below them we have some Dark Weezings, some Team Rocket cards. I don't think they're very valuable, but the Flareons are probably $15 to $20 a card depending on the condition, even ungraded. So it's nice to have two of them. They're very nice to start the binder off. Next page we have some more old cards. Pidgeot, another jungle card. I think, two jungles up here and these guys down here are fossil. Kangaskhan, a little bit, I'm not entirely sure if he's holographic or not. He looks a little shiny to me, so he might be. But these are just some cool looking vintage cards. They're also in very good condition. They don't have these doubled up, so you can kind of see the back. Very nice. And below them we have some Laprases from the fossil set. These guys are just about $5, $6 a pop, but they're nice to have in the binder because they just set the tone of the vintage era for the rest of the more valuable cards that are coming next. Here we have a base set 2 Clefairy. I was never a huge Clefairy fan myself, but the guy to the right of it, I am a huge fan of, Blastoise. And you might be wondering, well, that's a weird way to spell Blastoise, and you're right, because this is a foreign Blastoise. This is the German version of the card, Turtok. I never really had any German cards growing up. It was either Japanese or English, but I guess there's a few people in Germany who must have played Pokemon, and this card must have worked its way to the US somehow. Most excitingly, this guy is a, let's see if I can focus, first edition card. Yes, love that. Not the best condition, as you can tell. There is a crease right about here, and there's another crease right over here. But besides that, he's in very good condition. The corners aren't very bad at all. Looks pretty nice. I'm not sure how far a few creases drop the grade, but I'm sure it's not a 1, but maybe somewhere between a 2 and a 5. So still a nice card. Even I think first edition PSA 2 to 5 is probably worth somewhere in the realm of $100 to $200, especially if the market is just booming for these first edition cards, which it usually is. But I'm in no rush to sell these cards. I actually just want to hang on to them because I love the vintage cards. I think they look very nice. Down here we have some Japanese cards. This is a Moltres, also from Fossil. Not very valuable card, probably $5 or so. To the right of the Moltres we have a Japanese Lugia. If this guy was first edition, I'd be a very lucky man because the first editions are worth thousands and thousands. But I did some research on this guy, and just the Japanese non-first edition form of Lugia, worth about $50, but still a very nice card. I really always liked Lugia. I like the dragon type Pokemons. I think everybody does, honestly, so nice little pickup there. Moving on, we have some Machamps. Everybody loves some good holographic Machamps, and of course they're always first edition. I don't think they ever printed any non-first edition Machamps back in the 90s. So up above we have some Alakazams. Once again, there's just a lot of duplicates in this binder, and I think it's nice to have two of a card. It looks really nice to have them side by side. As you can see, those Japanese cards have the old pocket monster back. Gotta love that. Some people might think this is fake, some of the people who are newer to Pokemon collecting when they see something like this, but this is just how the Japanese cards used to be. Another Kangaskhan, another Lapras, and then we have a Muck from Fossil, and a Dark Gyarados. I really like Gyarados. This Dark Gyarados card isn't too valuable, you know, maybe $20, $30 depending on the condition. But you never know, in the future these cards might be a little bit harder to come by. I think the Dark Team Rocket set cards, the vintage ones, are criminally underpriced right now. You can get these guys for crazy cheap, so it might be a good time to pick some up if you want to hold them, you know, for the 30th anniversary of Pokemon coming up here in a few years. Now we're getting into some miscellaneous stuff. We have a trainer, old trainer card. We have a Zapdos. He is kind of beat up though, as you can see. He has a little bit of service scratches, and maybe when he was printed there wasn't really a lot of ink in the printer because there seems to be some white spots. But it's always nice to see a base set Zapdos. I like those cards. It's probably my favorite one out of Articuno and Moltres. I think I like Zapdos the best. Down here we have a base set 2 Ninetales and a Fossil Hypno. On this next page there's nothing, there's a random card here. It's another Ninetales, but this one is actually shadowless. So the other one we had that shadow on the right side of the border, but this guy is 100% shadowless. So I don't really know if that is a big deal or not, but it's always cool to just see the different variants of the older cards. And finally, we have like what I think is the most interesting page of the binder. This final one definitely has some goodies on it. Really made the binder worth picking up. Everything before this was kind of mid, if you would say, except for maybe the first edition Blastoise. But these last 4 cards are pretty nice, if I do say so myself. All right, first up we have a Charizard. Everybody loves a good Charizard. You know, I never really saw this version of Charizard around too much. I did do a little bit of research on him, but it looks like a newer Charizard, but it is old. You can see the old, I think, e-reader design for the Game Boy on it when they were scanning cards and stuff back in the early 2000s. But this guy is from 2003, so he's, I guess, 20 years old this year. Very old. It's called an EX Dragon set Charizard. He's not in the best condition. He has there's a little bit of, I don't know what you would call it, just creasing, minor creasing. There's a little bit of a fold over there. The camera isn't picking up it very well. He's not the best condition. If you look at the back too, you know, I guess the back is probably in better condition than the front because those corners are pretty nice. Depending on the condition, well, if he was a PSA 10, he'd go for thousands, but he's obviously not. It's probably somewhere from a 3 to 6, somewhere in that range. So I think I could get anywhere from $100 to $200 for this guy specifically. To the right, we have a Dark Blastoise. This is another one of those Team Rocket cards from the vintage set that are pretty underpriced nowadays, but I think in the future these guys will go up in value. He's probably, you know, $40 for that card or whatnot, depending on the condition. And then down here we have my absolute favorite type of card. I am a sucker for the reverse hollows in the legendary collection. I don't know, I love the way the foil looks. I think it's one of the most unique designs they had for cards back in the day. And as you know, in my other video I had some other reverse hollows from the legendary set in my big mega binder. So I was excited to pick these guys up. Articuno, a very nice card in very good condition. If we look at the back, corners are not super great. There's a little bit of whitening and a little dent here and there, but I still think, you know, this guy goes ungraded easily, $100 for this card ungraded. So it's nice to have him around. I just love the way these cards look. To the right we have a Mankey, another reverse holo. Not worth as much, probably somewhere between $30 and $50, but I think this one is in very, very good condition. If you look at the back, I guess there's a little bit of a nasty corner there, but the front is just perfect, basically. Yeah, that's the little binder I got for you guys. Not too many cards in it, but the ones that it does have are definitely worth showing. Him, and basically everybody on this last page. I think those cards are my favorite, definitely, in this set. All right, so let me know what you guys think. If you have these cards, or you think they're absolute junk and I'm just out of my mind. But either way, leave a comment on what you thought, and hopefully I'll be planning some more trading card videos soon in the future. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.